Maybe an opportunity for him to steal this away from some of the other teams. Just spamming and spraying. Oh, tough spot that would be. Trying to get into zone there with everybody looking at you.
Oh no. Marco leader, unfortunately, getting bought back from their position as well. Clown and Grills, so many fights forced, but still below Surge. Slurped up now, their loadout's so good. And yeah, they are the absolute mythic bosses as well of Mega City. Grills still hitting so much, but everyone else has been so topped up on damage, not from fights, but just from tags. Them looking for these full box fights might have been their demise all along, even though they've won so many of them.
They need to keep on hunting. You can't give up yet. 20 above will give them a bit of room to be able to start making a rotation into zone, but where they land is so key because they have to keep on getting more. Moving over towards the left and still building up for height. He wants to just ping at people flying and gliding through the sky. That's his goal. The problem is he's not connected with any shots like that so far, and the chance of him doing so now seem near impossible. Again, another player slips by, another one slipping by. He can't hit anything. The best option for them may be to just land and try to take a box fight somewhere, because taking shots at players gliding through is just too difficult.
Such a cramped up place to box too. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a safe option. They do have Mass to be able to work with, but have blocked up 180 degrees of vision where they could possibly be going for lots of beams on long range, and kind of just force themselves to be in conversation with 3 duos beside them, box to box. And that is where they perform. Eye drop getting absolutely bodied. That splash that actually ends up picking it up. Not enough damage even for Grolls and Clownski. Down to just 2 more strikes from Lightning. Clownski needs something here. Him and Grolls, it's over.
The shot from them's onto eye drop was just a little too late. Their attempt for getting Surge just wasn't successful, and it's not going to be successful for anybody else in the lobby either. You've got to start getting creative, sort of start thinking about different ways to get your damage, especially this deep into the game here in the night zone. Splashy has a move to make, and going to use that kinetic blade to make it.
Need to be absolutely decisive here. Every single duo that's successful right now is making a move as soon as the next zone ends up popping in. If you're a solo, you have that much more pressure on you. This is Future. You saw them for the 9th and 10th zone. Just keep it close and personal to the chest. Look at the damage coming in. Future, though, overstepping into the box, and it's all up to 2 now.
This is the problem. At this stage in the game, first move in zone, players going for refreshes like this. You end up getting caught in an endless cycle of just teams walking into boxes like that. And so now, an endgame as a solo for 2 Spevies in a similar predicament.
All they can do is really just go all the way ahead. Let the slurps do the talking, be minimal on the builds. Vico, Kylie, side by side, don't look to be an absolute detriment for the moment. But still, Shambles on the mats. We can find something.
You can see he's farming this tree. Every little helps him right now in the same game. Picks up some Cypher mats as well. Epsy and Chexy building up high above everybody else, making sure nobody can reach with kinetic blades. That's the hope, and that's the goal at least. And they can continue to make their move. The zone pulls, nobody really chopping them out. So they'll just keep building.
Down the wood is what I see from Chexy though. Hardy looking to see what he can do next. Chokebacks on the backside, and they are going to be in the same box. 2 still surviving. Bevies might be in that same position. It's the Buell who's above this box.
2 patiently waiting for something to walk into his line of sight, walk into his crosshairs, and it's not going to come. Going to go deep into zone now. Maybe look to try heal off from early.
The winner of this game going straight towards the finals, and it might be Vico who forces out this shot, but it's not enough to stay inside the game. Bevies and Pablo side by side once more. They might have what it takes to just go through this absolute hurricane of builds and damage all around them. Bevies on the backside still just holding down the integrity of these builds. Pablo says it's time to move on though, find a new home. It's a little bit higher in layers. Mapassi and Chexy though still towards the top, uninterrupted.
Nobody looking at them whatsoever. A nice rotation earlier there as well. Shmeki and Gabbix still moving through these zones, and they still have so many more materials than a lot of their competitors. They can continue to just taunt. Finally though, somebody chopping high.
Gotta be vigilant for Shmeki though. They have so many options, but if you're gonna be lackadaisical, you might get bopped. Big shot as he moves. Pablo though, his pump can do the talking too. As Steno ends up going down. Him and Bevies, an absolute powerhouse to be able to mess with, and they have control of low.
We thought it was Bevies as a solo, but both of these guys still in this game. Perceive, he's looking to make magic happen, but it's not going to be magic this time. Has to play it the next one. Pablo, Wingu, and Bevies are on a roll.
They're a magnet of destruction here on the grass, on low ground. Anyone touches the earth, they get raised. Gabex too, a complete chop off of heights. Fall damage might just be enough, but Splash ends up going down towards the zone. Still, another solo straggling somewhere. Sexy, who gets swatted like a fly, chopped down deep inside the zone, unable for the reconnect. It's a kinetic blade that gets flown towards the sky. Gabex down, Pablo, Wingu, and Bevies trying to sign their way over to the grand finals. It's 2 shots straight towards the box. Schmecky goes down, and they look at glory.
And we talked about a chance for redemption for this duo. On top of the world last major, and haven't quite reached those heights in Major 2, but finally securing a ticket back into the grand finals, and a second shot for this team to show that they are and can be a top EU team.
A top EU team that's so aggressive. They did it in their Spin Storm style. One box that has access to every single angle possible of every single team, including the last one that gets chopped down. Schmecky in the box. These guys are basically telekinetic with each other, know exactly what they're thinking. Telepathic, excuse me, but they're gonna find their way straight towards the finals. Bevies and Pablo Wingu, what a game.
After how last season went for them, it's even mad to think that they're here playing in Surge Week, but nevertheless, they are now going to be playing in the grand finals, and a really big shot for them. Of course, the spots are starting to run out, but these guys finally securing them.
Yeah, they not only chopped high ground that game, but also chopped up who's consistent towards the end. So, to see what the updates are on that, we got Adam and the boys to see what's up.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, we do have ourselves a top-of-the-world duo right now, but courtesy of being down close to the ground, low ground reign supreme on that one. Mini, unbelievable. I mean, a team we kind of expected could go the distance. They've done exactly that and did it with aplomb. From down low, superb to watch.
We always knew they had it in their locker. They're one of those sort of teams that can pop off at the biggest moments, and they did on those mid-ground layers, doing such a good job. And I think throughout this end game, they were shambles. They had no mats in almost every single time we hopped on board with them, but they had the answers to those questions every time.
And it seemed as though a really crucial refresh just came at the proper time, because this duo was stacked by the time it came down to the ending moments. Because Pablo Wingu, what I loved about it, he didn't even have mythic munitions, but just getting so much utility out of this tactical pistol, just chopping down the builds, refusing to let any duo try to actually take advantage of being on high ground, kind of understanding, hey, if we're running low on builds, we're probably not the only ones.
I actually love that there as well. Gabex just dropped inside of the box, and they were like, you know what, let's just get him in there, take him out. It's a 1v2 situation, easy cut.
Yeah, indeed. 12 eliminations, though. I mean, we're seeing, like, you know, this team have managed to do superbly well to continuously put points on the board today, but now they're all stripped away because they automatically progress, which is, you know, incredible to see. And I'm sure the rest of the leaderboard are very excited that they're not there anymore. Gives them an opportunity to do that. Let's take a look here as well at some stats coming from Pablo Wingu. Again, you know, a player we've known so well and has done so many things in the Fortnite space, and again, continuing to deliver on that promise he always makes us.
Yeah, especially when you consider that for week 3, it seems as though this duo just kind of might have struggled with the initial style of the competitive meta the first 2 weeks, but the development of being able to actually tackle more of that aggressive play style has really just molded them into this kind of hyper-fixated sensation at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen them not had the best season, particularly at the beginning, of course, not quite making finals in week 1 and week 2, sorry. They made it in week 3. Solid performance. Hopefully they can continue that momentum into Grants.
Yeah, well, they can certainly really turn things around now they're in grand finals. This is how the leaderboard now looks after Pablo Wingu goes through Bevies. We can see here that right now, Future, we talked about these guys just after the last game number 2 here. Now top of the leaderboard, 150 points, 10 points in the lead, 30 points between them, and 6th position wouldn't qualify right now. You know, 2 games left to play. 30 points is easily gettable if a team pops off in game number 4.
I mean, speaking of pop-off, Gabex, Schmecky, what a performance for those guys. Moving up 23 places on the leaderboard, now making their way into the top 4. They're just shoving everyone else out of the way, and you know what? We're getting in here. We're enjoying ourselves, and they enjoy themselves in this endgame, Tekka.
Yeah, it seemed as though, in particular, they really just didn't question where their next move was. It just seemed as though they had so much confidence, and a big part of that also credited towards the kinetic blades, because it was quite difficult to actually deal with trying to take them off of that high ground initially, because it just bails you out so easily, because the moment your build gets chopped, well, you're still up in the air, you're still not having to deal with fall damage of any kind, and I just really appreciate the fact that they understood that, hey, if we have the loadouts to our advantage, we might as well utilize it.
Was that 2 games in a row they're on height now? They haven't quite found the formula for winning on high ground. They're second place yet again. But of course, they can do it on consistency. That is what matters as well. So if they can continue it in game 4 and 5, they should be okay.
Yeah, I think consistency as well, regardless of points, is getting into that in game in the first place. You see other teams are really falling at the wayside. They cannot make it in there in the first place. If you can't give yourself an opportunity to qualify, then it's wraps for you. But I think coming into this next kind of game number 4 here, Taka, what are teams preparing now with the penultimate game? What is the strat going into this last kind of couple of games?
Well, I'd actually say these last 2 matches might actually be the most problematic, even for some of our teams that are looking to playoff consistency, because you have to think about the teams that aren't in that conversation, teams that are just so far down in points, where Victor Royale is basically, you know, everything for them. So we can maybe expect to see those teams looking to play a lot more aggressively, trying to establish that first place position. And as a result, teams that are trying to play more passive, teams that are trying not to take the engagements, they might just be bamboozled.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's all about looking at yourself in the mirror right now as a team, thinking, are we capable of qualifying through consistency? Can it happen? If not, it's all about the win.
Yeah, keep all those fingers crossed. Hopefully it happens here. Of course, there's loads of you guys watching from around the world right now, and we've got viewing parties, all the like as well. One person we know loves to get the community involved as well is a guest who we're chatting to right now. It's Suha here on the show right now. Suha, it's great to have you here. El Professor, I should say as well. Tell us about the story behind El Professor. What is the nickname? How did it happen in the first place?
I mean, it's a professor, so it's basically because I'm doing content like as a professor with my viewers, and I'm trying to teach Fortnite to everyone since like 5 years ago.
Awesome.
Well, as somebody who's essentially teaching, you know, the masses and trying to undertake everybody else's, your own students, what do you think is one of the most important lessons based off the competitive gameplay that we've kind of been watching that you would kind of advise to everyone else that's kind of joining you for your viewing parties as well?
Yo, I'm basically always recommending the mental, you know? It's you can have like God's mechanics, you can have like a really good game plan, but if your mental is bad, you are not gonna be a pro player.
Now, you've been watching, of course, a lot of the weeks of FNCS. You've been watching today, of course, as well. What do you make of it?
Yes.
What are you liking about this season so far?
I love FNCS. I mean, when it comes to the FNCS, you feel it, you know? You feel FNCS on the air. And I love everything about it. The nerf, the people around it, and of course the Spanish ones. I always rooting the Spanish ones. Naco, Pasteve, crazy right now in the kids. And it's really cool. It's really cool.
Well, Suha, it's been great having you here with us on the show. Where can we find you online?
You can find me on Twitch as Suha GG on everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, whatever you want.
Love to see it. Gracias, El Profesor.
Gracias.
There you go. Hey, my Spanish is coming along.
I was waiting for that.
Thank you.
I don't know what that means.
I don't actually speak Spanish,
no,
but
neither
thanks.
do I.
I think
I looked it up. Yeah.
That was, I mean, great to chat to kind of Suha there as well, the professor. We've got ourselves so much to look forward to. We've got 2 games left here, though. Taka, I mean, this what it's all about. Now, you need to get those points on the board.
I just want to see who wins the next one.
If you're in it, win now. Get it done.
Get it done. High ground or low ground, it's all about accumulating those points. You're going to our penultimate game. It's back to Shio and Levin. Let's hop on into game number 4.
Spaces in the grand finals are slowly but surely running out. Who will come out on